Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here, as you guys can see up on the screen. Today I want to talk a little bit about Mullen Automotive Incorporated. This is ticker symbol MULN. One of the most popular retail stocks, one of the most popular stocks in general in the market right now. It's obviously, a smaller cap EV play, and it's one that, like I said, people are pretty excited about. High volume, high volatility, really, really fun and interesting for me to follow over the past couple of months and cover, because there's always something crazy going on with Mullen. And today was actually a very, very good day for Mullen. Again, 4.65% up, you can see here on the screen, and then up another 3% after hours. I mean, we are talking a very good day there. And then it gets even better when you take a look at the broader market. Dow Jones was like barely up, less than a fifth of a percentage point. S&P is up 0.21% on the day. NASDAQ is actually a little bit red, down 0.01%, and then the Russell was down 0.34%. So, this was Mullen on its own being up. This is Mullen significantly outperforming all the major indices today. And again, this wasn't just the whole market's up and Mullen is up with it. This was the market being pretty flat in pretty much all aspects today. Most stocks were, within really, really close to just being even, maybe a little bit up, maybe a little bit down. So to pull out a 4.5% upward movement day with still positive movement after hours is very, very good. That's very, very exciting. In this video today, we're going to be going over all the latest for Mullen, keeping you guys up to date on everything that's going on. So definitely drop a like if you do enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest content. And of course, as always, there's not going to be any financial advice in this video. I'm not telling you guys to buy anything, not telling you guys to sell anything, nothing like that. Just going over the latest and giving my thoughts and opinions. With that being said, let's get right into this one. So with that being said, despite the fact that this was a very, very good day for Mullen, obviously this has still been a very, very rough year. But down 77% pretty much year to date. That's like pretty much going on 4 months at this point. But part of the reason why Mullen is so popular is a lot of people got involved in this range here, late February, early March. And, since there, you could have possibly doubled your money in just like 2 months or something like that. So that kind of puts in context, like, yes, Mullen is having a bad 2022, but it all kind of depends what timeline you're looking at. As far as news and stuff from Mullen, we had this from investorplace.com. They are telling people, and putting out articles that say, hey, continue to steer clear of Mullen stock. They're saying Mullen Automotive could prove the bears wrong, but it's not a stock worth investing in today. Mullen Automotive remains a volatile and riskier battleground stock. Slick-looking future products could be empty promises per Mullen bears, and investors don't have to be in it to win it at today's suspect Mullen stock price. So, like I said, since Mullen is such a popular stock, it's also just such a polarizing stock where there's a lot of people that love Mullen, a lot of people that are loading up, a lot of people that are saying this thing's going to the moon, a lot of people are, saying I can get my hands on as many shares as I possibly can, especially while this thing's cheap. It's clearly the future, yada, yada, yada. There is a ton of people, like this saying that, Mullen is overvalued, Mullen's garbage, Mullen's going to zero, Mullen's going to crash down, it's a scam, it's a fraud, a phony, whatever. There's just a ton of people on both sides, and it's just kind of interesting to look at the two different perspectives. And I do think, as always, it is important, even if you are, the biggest Mullen bull in the world, and you think it's like a surefire bet, and you're putting your life savings into it or whatever, to still see what the other side's saying, to, still hopefully have rebuttals and comebacks and arguments for the other side and everything. But yeah, this is still some of the public sentiment right now, and some of the articles being put out by media and stuff. And obviously this has some sway. This is what some people will read. This is where some people go for their information. So you never know. But that is out there. Obviously still a lot of negativity surrounding the stock. On the Mullen subreddit, we have people talking about the significance of last week's Buzz EV News article on Mullen. This guy says, not advice, just opinion. If you doubt or feel down, do read that article. It is a well-written and in-depth explaining the technical side of the Mullen Motors M5 design, which is as impressive as the attitude of CEO Mishry and his team. They are honest and transparent about their goals and who they are. Mullen is not trying to be a flashy like Lucid or hype like Tesla, and CEO Mishry and his team are upfront about that fact. Mullen is focused on affordable innovation, and they're quietly achieving it. So again, kind of taking the good with the bad. The Investor Place article is super, super negative on the Mullen subreddit. Obviously going to be like a dedicated Mullen community. You're going to be more biased towards positivity here. But like I said, they're also down 77% in the past 4 months. So there is a fair share of negativity, even on Mullen boards, even on Mullen threads and Mullen subreddits and stuff like that. Because, hey, there's definitely a lot of people who've lost a lot of money in this thing. Now, there's people who have made a lot of money with it as well. But it's not like the Mullen subreddit is just straight up, only shills and stuff like that. There is still their fair share of negativity from the inside and the outside. But this is an article that we covered on this channel last week, I do believe. But yeah, just knowing that there is bull cases out there. There is good news out there. There are still things to be excited about and everything. We have this, which I thought was an interesting post. You should only buy Mullen with money you can forget about for several years, which, it's just kind of very general investment advice you would hear from like a lot of people saying is like, hey, this is just probably a good idea in general, like only invest money that you can afford to lose, because especially when you're dealing with individual stocks, especially when you're dealing with volatile stocks, unprofitable companies, individual companies, small market cap companies, you never know what's going to happen. And in the short term, in 4 months, you could lose 77% of your money. And if it's money that you can't afford to lose, or you need it for bills or rent, or you don't have any savings, that's like all the money you have or whatever, you might be feeling the pressure to sell or bail out, even if it's still something that you believe in. Even if you think Mullen is like a surefire thing for 3, 5, 10 years in the future, whatever, you might be feeling like you need to sell out, and then you're gonna have just lost 77% of your money. And then you're going to be out. And then if this thing does, take off or whatever, you're just going to feel extra bad, because you're just going to still have taken those losses and stuff. And if it's money that, doesn't mean as much to you, obviously it adds a lot of the stress and a lot of the, anxiety and all that stuff around, when that's not what this should be. This should be a way to, build towards your future investing in general. It shouldn't be, something that's causing you all these like psychological issues and stuff. So I thought this was just like a good, at least like rational thought from, Mullen subreddit of all places. We had some people talking about this as well. I don't really know what's going on with this. Yes, clearly the real winner was the Fisker Karma. People talking about Siri departed Tesla on deposit fraud fears, an article from 2009. I don't know. I didn't really understand this one too much. And then we have a Mullenaires know how to hodl, which I think is interesting as well. The Fintel retail ownership most widely held stocks, at least according to this graphic that got posted in here. And the top comment says that, hey, they're 39th on the Gamma Squeeze leaderboard, which is funny. But as far as Fintel retail ownership most widely held stocks, retail apparently owns a ton of Mullen. It's actually the 7th most widely held retail stock, at least by market share percentage, at 0.64%. And that is very, very interesting. I mean, that's good and bad in some ways. It's good in the fact that you have a very, very strong retail base. You have a lot of, retail investors that are excited and wanting to put their own, hard-earned money into the stock. And obviously they're going to fight for it, and they're going to be talking about it on social media and all this stuff. But at the same time, having high retail ownership, does definitely make you a threat for manipulation from, the large players in the game and short selling and all that stuff. So it can definitely have good and bad sides, but it shows that, Mullen does have a very, very dedicated community. Now, the most interesting news of the day and stuff that I saw was this video from Johnny Love that was also getting passed around the subreddit, where he is talking about this Indeed job posting for a front desk administrative assistant for Mullen Technologies in Hernando, Mississippi, where he says part of the job description is creating Fedex for the corporate office and auto lots. And, he goes on to say, I didn't watch the whole thing, but, like the shtick right after this is, hey, does this give us some insight into who that Fortune 500 company that Mullen's going to be partnering up with? Is it FedEx? And it is still possible that it's FedEx, but I do not believe that this information gives us any insight into that. There are lots of comments on, there are lots of comments on this video. It's like, oh my God, great info, like great find. And it is a good find. I mean, I think it's at least an interesting discussion to have. But there are a lot of comments like, hey, right here, it's typical for an admin assistant to prepare FedEx at the end of the day, regardless of company. This is probably not an indicator. I've worked in similar companies. Creating FedEx and UPS orders is pretty standard nowadays for corporate companies. So yeah, just basing off this, I'm going to say that this means absolutely nothing. This is a very, very low level position. This is, $15 an hour, which in some places is like, pretty close to minimum wage, if not minimum wage. I don't think, if they had some crazy FedEx Fortune 500 partnership between Mullen and FedEx coming up, that, it would be getting leaked through a $15 an hour position on Indeed. And then, like they said, it doesn't even mean anything. You can still do FedEx for shipping and stuff without having a, partnership, like an EV deal with FedEx and everything like that. So I thought it's interesting, kind of a funny find. A lot of people are talking about it, but at the end of the day, I'm not reading too much into it. I don't think, it means too much, but we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, it could still be FedEx. Just because I don't think this means much doesn't mean it's not FedEx, but I don't think this means it is. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about MULN. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hope we catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.